Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 2. Tottenham get their second consecutive victory in the Premier League in just about 6 days time frame. This is Top of the Perch, as always, with your host, me, Nick Burt. What a game from Tottenham today. Coming off that big 4-1 victory against Newcastle. Kind of felt like they need to keep up momentum against a Nottingham Forest side. Hasn't been great so far this season. They've had their moments, some good, some quite bad. And today, things were just coming up Tottenham. That's how this game kind of played out. Nottingham Forest had some answers for Tottenham, mostly in the first 30-ish minutes, I guess I would say. But after that, it felt like Tottenham kind of took hold and made sure nothing else happened in this game other than Tottenham walking away with the 3 points. So let's get into it. Second minute of the game, just full. Actually, I think it was around minute 30 mark. So only 90 seconds into the game. I mean, Romero picks out Sarr. Sarr gets it to Son, who's in the box. He puts it on net to Turner, and Turner makes a good save. But what a start it would have been if Tottenham could have got a first goal within that first 90 seconds today. Just wasn't in the cards. It came close. But Tottenham truly didn't really have another great opportunity until the 20th minute. In between there, I know Morgan Gibbs-White, I think, had an opportunity on net. He somewhere the mid-teens time frame, maybe late teens. But Gianluigi Vicario, one-on-one, punches it away. Great save. Keeps the game at 0-0. Kulusevski gets it in the box, from what I remember, right around the 23rd minute. Puts a shot on, goes wide of the net, but it kind of felt like it was starting to set up that this was going to be a Kulusevski game, and he was going to be that person making the plays that Tottenham needed. And it turned out that that is what was going to happen. I mean, Spurs were, flying around the place this whole game, which also allowed Forest to get some good opportunities on net, just catching Tottenham out of position, and that just snowballed. Ended up with a Vicario save most of the time, or ball just being sent wide in the net. I believe it was 29th minute, Brendan Johnson gets hit in the head in the box. He gets subbed out for Oliver Skip. We'll get to him in the player ratings. Then action kind of died down again. We pick it up right before half. They added on 3-4 minutes of stoppages. The second minute of stoppage time, a just free kick from the own half. Kulusevski just crossed into the box to Richarlison. Heads it into the back of the net. It's 1-0 Tottenham. Great assist from Kulusevski. Like I said, it kind of felt like this game was going to turn into a Kulusevski type game. Richarlison gets another goal. That's 3 goals in the past 2 games coming off of that injury. Are we seeing an informed Richarlison finally showing up for Tottenham for what seems like the first time in his Tottenham career? Maybe. We'll see. Another big factor in this game, the refereeing was atrocious. The lack of discipline on the Forest side not getting called was just absolutely outlandish. Ryan Yates should have had 4 or 5 yellow cards. Ended up, I think, getting 1 in the game. But he just... It's week after week that it's just refereeing malpractice, it seems. It seems like after that game against Liverpool, where there was a mistake that was made, and just ever since then, it's we're not going to make any calls that are for Tottenham now. because why would we? We gave them that game against Liverpool in September. It's now December. I don't know. Vicario, 55th minute. What a save from him. I mean, I could be remembering the wrong minute, but there was a save by Vicario. He just, and I literally was like this, basically watching it. I'm like, there's no way. It was going top-ish corner. I don't remember right or left. Just an absolute outstanding diving save from him. Comes up clutch to keep the game at 1-0. I know 58th minute, I don't remember who it was on Forest, but they put it in the back of the net. It was 1-1. Blatant offsides that took 5 minutes to review at field. How, I don't know, but we still ended up with a 5-minute review, basically. It ends up being no goal. And then only 5 minutes later, Dejan Kulusevski right down, charges at Matt Turner. Matt Turner with a bad pass. Kulusevski charges in to intercept it. Kulusevski shoots it. Turner gets a hand on it, but it's still in the back of the net. It's 2-0 Tottenham. And by then, it was just this game was over, basically. 70th minute, Basuma, awful tackle. Originally given a yellow card, ref called to the monitor to look at it. It's clear red. He gets a red. I'll get to him in the player ratings. It's just, yeah. I don't know. He, ever since coming back from that little injury spell, he just hasn't been that great, if we're honest. These last, 3-4 games, he hasn't been great. So he's now suspended next week, so we'll figure all that out. I think we ended up, after that, there was really no other attacking opportunities on either side. Tottenham walk away with the 2-0 victory. A clean sheet is always a good day. So let's get into the stats because, I'm not really surprised by what they say, but they still say Tottenham 67% possession. No real surprise there. Shots, Forest did have more shots in the game. That was a little surprising to me. 15 compared to Tottenham's 12, but you can have 15 shots, but when you only have one on target, doesn't really mean anything. So they have one shot on target the whole game. Tottenham have 6. Also, one shot on target on 15 shots with 10 of them being in the box. No, that's not good. Tottenham had 11 of their 12 shots in the box, only one of them outside of it. So for me, that's improvement because I like to see shots in the box and not outside. I know that's trivial, but I personally like that. Expected goals, very close. Forest had 1.50 right on the dot. Tottenham had 1.53, so Tottenham still win there. 537 total passes for Tottenham in this game compared to Forest 245. Forest only completed 73% of those compared to Tottenham completing 89% of their 537. 16 fouls on Forest. Only ended up with 2 yellow cards. Like I said, there could have been a lot more in there, but I don't know. Tottenham had 11 fouls with 4 yellow cards, including one that ended up being a red. So, hey. And then Forest had 6 shots, or 6 corners in the game, I should say, compared to Tottenham having just 4. So given that, we will, of course, move now into these player ratings as we always do. So let's just bring that up. And like we always do, we're going to start right at the top with Richarlison. Like I said, another goal, which means that he might be getting hot. He's heating up. 3 goals in 2 games, pretty good. So
He earns an 8.1 though. I mean, he had a very good game. I did give him that. There was still a little bit to be lacked. I thought it could have been a little bit better at some points. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. Son earns a 7.3. It's just he didn't really have a great game today. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I mean, it wasn't good. It's just it was a day. I'll give him that. Kulusevski, 9.2, earns the Man of the Match award. He had the assist on the Richarlison goal. He had an own goal himself, not a own goal, but he had a goal himself. I mean, just an outstanding player. Just looking at some of the stats from him this year. In the Premier League, he has the most touches in the opponent's box, most open play chances created, most distant covered, 5 goals, 0 of them penalties, 2 assists. That is a perfect winger right now in the Premier League. That is just some outstanding play right there. Brendan Johnson got subbed off because of that injury. He only earned a 6.3 because he didn't have a lot of time out there, if we're honest. Yeah, not great. We'll move on. Basuma, 5.2, got the red card in like the 70th minute, so Tottenham played down a man for the last 20-ish. Just before that red card at Luton, Basuma was such a great player. In this midfield, he was outstanding. Ever since that Luton game where he got the red card, this dude has fallen off a cliff. I don't know what has happened, but I don't know. He has truly just... I think he might be on the verge of losing his spot in the starting 11. I know the question was posed when, we thought that we were going to have everybody healthy in this midfield. So that's including Madison and Bentancur, who lasted one game. But the question was, who's going to be benched? I think everybody said Sarr because he's just the youngest. Have him come off the bench. He's a super sub, basically. I don't know if that's the case now. I think Basuma is the one that's out. Just the way he's played. I mean, unless he finds that form again, I think he's the one out. I know you got to make room for 2 there, but I think you end up maybe dropping one of Richarlison or Johnson, whoever's not in form, and having Kulusevski move back up into that wing position, have Son right up the middle, and then there's your space for Madison. I don't know. That's obviously a bridge we'll cross when we get there. That bridge may never come because nobody's ever healthy. I don't know. Sarr earns a 7.7. He had an okay game. The midfield did struggle a bit at points, but you can't really put all the blame on him. I thought he still had a pretty decent game, though. He's a very good player for Spurs. I can't really say much better for him. He's a very good player. It's just, one of those nights where you don't have your best, I guess I would say. Moving on, Destiny Udogie. What a performance from this man. Not today, though. The season, yes. Today, not so much. Earns a 7.3. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but it certainly wasn't a great game. Could have been a lot better, but it also could have been a lot worse. let's get to a guy that I think could have won Man of the Match. That is Ben Davies. He has put up 2 massive performances the past 2 games against Newcastle and Forest. Earns an 8.3. Just what a performance. Just looking at some of these stats here. He was 92 out of 101 for passes completed. He had 6 clearances, 5 aerial duels won, 4 ground duels won, 2 fouls won, 0 times he was dribbled past. Now, I have been critical of Ben Davies. I have said more than a few times he is not my favorite Tottenham player, that he needs replacement. But I will be honest, he has stepped up these past few games. And I am proud to say I was wrong, because what he's done in these past few games have proved me wrong. He's stepped up when we needed him, is basically what I am saying. He was the better of the 2 central defenders today. Romero earns an 8.1. Now, they both were really good, but I'm just saying I thought Davies was the better of the 2 today. I kind of recapped Romero right there. There was nothing really else to add there. Pedro Porro, another player, could have won Man of the Match. The transformation that this man has made, I keep saying it every week, he has made transition in this lineup. I mean, this dude has turned into a monster. Comparing him to defenders this year, in the Premier League, he has the most shots, the most tackles won, the most ground duels won. You know what that reminds me of? Joao Canseco. If Ange Postecoglou has created Tottenham's version of Joao Canseco, and they're fully healthy, this team is scary. That's what I love about this, because he has turned... Last year, I thought this was going to be money wasted. Another £50 million out the window, sold on or used on a bad player, because he didn't really show that under Ryan Mason and Antonio Conte, because that wasn't the system that he works with. This is his system. He is looking absolutely outstanding out there. I know I pick these Man of the Match awards, and I'm going to say that he hasn't got it enough this year, and that's all my own fault. But he is truly maybe the best player on this Tottenham team right now, because he's just so consistent at being good. Just what a player. What a player. It is somewhat hard to believe sometimes. I go back to clips from last year watching him. It's 2 completely different players. What Ange Postecoglou has done with Pedro Porro is insane. Another player that could have won Man of the Match. He had some outstanding saves today. It was Gianluigi Vicario. No goalkeeper has had more clean sheets this year in the Premier League. He has 5. That is, I know, it is. We are match week 17, which means we're getting closer to midway point. I mean, it's creeping towards us whether we know it or not. But 5 clean sheets in 17 games, that is pretty phenomenal numbers right there. The saves he makes are absolutely stunning sometimes. The acrobatics he has, amazing. Sometimes I question, why did this man only cost like £17 million or some number close to that? It's hard to believe, honestly, sometimes. Again, he could have won man of the match, but I think just there were other players that were better than him on the field today. Let's move on to the subs. I really hate to do this. I say it every week. I hate to do it, and then I do it. Oliver Skip. He played 60-plus minutes today. He earns a 5.5. I don't know. He picked it up at the end of the game. I will be honest. He did pick it up a little bit at the end of the game. His first 30-ish minutes, 40 minutes maybe even getting close to 50, were some of the, I won't say that. I won't say it's some of the worst football I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of bad football. But it certainly wasn't good. It's almost like things are going too fast for him out there, which doesn't make sense, but I mean, he doesn't do anything out there. If you told me that he had 0 passes on the day, 0 tackles, 0 interceptions, all those stats, if you told me he had goose eggs in all of them, I would believe you because I don't see him out there. It's already like Tottenham are playing a man down when he goes out there. I hate to say that because he's a homegrown talent and I want him to do well, but he doesn't look good out there. It's like he's not up to the level of Postecoglou's football. And I want him to be good. I really do. I don't know if it's going to happen. I truly just don't know. He's going to have to show something soon because that window is coming very soon. I mean, we're only 15 days away from the end of the year, 16 days. So from that January window opening, which I'm not expecting a lot to come of it, but just saying, you never know. Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, he played about 20-ish minutes, earns a 7.0. I thought he did pretty well in that midfield. He came on after the Basuma red card, so he kind of settled down that midfield. I know he kind of wants to leave in January. I don't think Postecoglou will let it happen, just given the depth that this team has. He's been a good stopgap at points. There's other points he looks like Højbjerg out there. Royale got subbed on late and couldn't get a rating. Velez took like 3 steps out onto the field and then the full-time whistle blew. So 10 out of 10 performance for walking. That's about it. So obviously he has no rating either. So given that wraps up this Nottingham Forest victory. I mean, looking at the calendar, I believe the next game will be next Saturday. So 8 days from now, it's on the... No, I think it's at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Everton. Everton team that looks very good right now. They're already out of the relegation zone after their 10-point deduction. They travel to Burnley this weekend, so Sean Dyche returning to his land, basically. We'll see what happens with that. But Everton, not a walkover, as they have been the past few years. So that should be an interesting test for Ange Ball. So given that, that's going to be it for this episode of Top the Perch. Thank you so much for watching. If you stumbled across this video, hit like, hit subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. We will be back next Saturday, obviously, recapping that Everton game for the next episode of Top of the Perch.